Greetings ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mangs, and today it is time for another episode of Cooking with myself and Panzergraf. And today we are truly grilling up something special at the pit. This can be viewed as the king of barbecue meals, a smoked briskets. This is one of the first things they sing about in the opening song of the Barbecue Pit Boys YouTube channel, and there's a very good reason for that. A brisket is a piece of meat cut from the breast or lower chest area of the cow. The meat is very tasty, but it is quite tough, since the breast area has a lot of connective tissue, meaning that in order to tenderize it, it must be cooked properly, and requires a lot of time. A brisket is often described as both the easiest and hardest things you can make. The easiest because it requires very little actual preparation. It really just needs to lay still on the grill for a long while. But also the most difficult because if you overcook it, it can easily become very tough and chewy. If you manage to do it just right though, it is easily the best thing you can make on the grill. Or at least that's what we've been told. This is actually our first time attempting to make one. This particular dish we're making is a smoked Texas briskets. Me and Panzergraf borrowed this recipe from T-Roy Cooks, one of our favorite barbecue channels on YouTube, link in the description. It is called a Texas brisket due to the rub we're using, which is a coating of sorts that we put onto the meat prior to grilling it. And it's called smoked because we're using a smoker, a special kind of grill designed to smoke the meat at indirect heats. Smoking a brisket takes a little longer, but it gives the meat an absolutely wonderful flavor. So let's show you how we prepare a Texas-style rub and how we apply it to the meat itself. The base of the rub will consist of this special sauce called a Worcestershire. I'm just gonna let the internet pronounce this one.
Worcestershire.
Thank you. Any kind of the sauce will do, you don't need to worry much about the brand. This is gonna be the base that holds all the ingredients together. Use a lot of it, you're going to need it to cover both sides of the briskets. Then you want to use some garlic powder, and honestly, we don't really use measuring tools, we just cook based on eyesight, taste, and experience, so depending on how much garlic you like in your food, either pour it on or be a bit more conservative with it. Then you want to add some pepper, and add a lot. Pepper is good. The next bit is optional, but if you want a bit of kick, we add some cayenne pepper as well. But if you're not a fan of strong food, you might want to skip out on this one. And then finally, we add some salt, as much as you think you need. When you got all the ingredients in the bowl, put on a pair of gloves and just mix it together with your hands. Then you'll finally understand why it's called a rub, because you literally rub it all over the meat. That's what she said. Don't be afraid to really get it in there. This will create a wonderful caramelized surface that will add a ton of flavor. Make sure that you rub in both sides of the brisket, and yeah, that's about it. That's really all the preparation you need. You can now carry it outside to the pitmaster and put it on the grill. Because we were hungry and there's a lot of people up at the cabin this year, we also prepare some marinated pork flanks on the side. We used the same marinade as we used for the pork chops that I showed off in our very first cooking video. You can check that out by clicking on the playlist in the video description if you want to see us cook some more food. I will be honest though, another reason why we're preparing some extra meat is that in case the brisket gets ruined and it's not very good, we have some backup food to sink our teeth into. Once the brisket is on the grill, it's basically going to cook itself. This is not food you need to constantly check up on all the time. And the keyword here is time. You want to set aside at least 4 to 5 hours when making this dish. We want to cook the brisket until it has an internal temperature of around 72 degrees Celsius or 160 degrees Fahrenheit. You want to get yourself one of those grill thermometers so you can check this by simply sticking it in there. There are some very advanced ones you can get, but we actually use a cheap one that we bought on our way up here. It gets the job done just as well. To add some extra smoky flavor to the meat, we put some birched wood in the section of the smoker where we usually put the coal. You can use wood just as well with the smoker, and most of the time we actually use a bit of combination of wood and coal, but we have also grilled exclusively using wood. Since the meat is going to be in there for many hours, you can really add a lot of extra flavor by doing this. There is one trick we employ towards the last hour of grilling, and that is something called a Texas cheat, or alternatively a Texas crutch, which just involves wrapping the brisket in foil for the final duration of the cook. We do this to preserve the juiciness of the meat. It also makes it easier to take off the grill and carry inside once it's done. And through the miracle of time, the brisket is done. We actually went a little bit above 72 degrees Celsius, so we were a bit worried here that we might have ruined the dish. After all, a brisket can be very tricky to get right. So while the brisket has been carried off the grill, it is actually not quite done yet. You may think 4 to 5 hours is long enough, but it's not quite enough yet, because the meat needs to rest for at least 30 to 60 minutes. If you try to cut it up now, all the juices will simply flow out of it, and the meat will not be as tender. You need to give it time to set in, so leave it in the foil and put it somewhere in the kitchen while you prepare the table. Before we begin, Panzergraf is glazing the flanks with a bit of juice from the brisket. And let me tell you guys, it smells absolutely delicious. Even the cows are lining up outside. Which makes no sense, considering we're eating cow meat. I never understood the logic of that, honestly. And so the fateful hour has arrived. Did we succeed in preparing the brisket properly, or did we fail spectacularly? Panzergraf brings forth his new big knife, which he actually got from barbecuepitboys.com, and we all wait in anticipation as he puts the meat to the tests. Will it be juicy and tender, or hard and chewy? Well, it looks like it is a success. The knife slices through the meat like hot butter, and you can see how juicy it is inside. It also got some wonderful smoke rings, which shows that it has been properly cooked all the way through. And as always, we actually do not apologize for eating in front of you, because we are proud of our pitmaster privilege. Panzergraf gives it a try, and it is as delicious as it looks. Take a look at this wonderful piece of meat here. It's so tender it almost falls off the fork. Personally, this might just be one of the best things I have ever tasted, and that is not something I say lightly. You definitely should give this a try if you ever have the chance. It tastes good! I don't usually plug this on my channel because it's mostly something I just do for fun and it's not really Fire Emblem related, but if you do enjoy watching what I cook, I do sometimes post about it on Instagram, so follow Mangs1337 or click the link in the video description if you want to see more. You can also check out the playlist linked in front of you to see what other meals me and Panzergraf have cooked previously. If you do end up making something following our videos, we'd love to hear about it, so don't hesitate to tag us. My name has been Mangs, and I thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.
Barbecue shoe song.
Those are my barbecue shoes.
not have my barbecue shoes on, so we cannot smoke the brisket.
I can't believe we're finally doing this. We're actually smoking a brisket. All these years, barbecue pit boys have prepared us for this moment.